Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to Mary's Little House for Cindy's song number 18, entitled Cindy and the Angels. I just got on off the phone, though. Just want to quickly tell you about a wonderful story of a return of a kitten, now a full adult. Um, in St. Louis, about 3 years ago, we were making our way from the Missionaries of Charity's convent after our mass at the convent in the soup kitchen to adoration at the St. Bridget and St. Teresa and St. Bridget, a church on Grand Avenue. It's one of those old churches, beautiful church with beautiful murals and beautiful stained glass windows, a beautiful sanctuary, beautiful tabernacle. Oh, just lovely. A place of the tabernacle reposition right up in the asp in the very in the altar, back of the altar there. But anyway, we were making our way. There's a little kitten running along the fence, the fence along the parking lot, the chain link fence, and there the cars are going up and down Grand Avenue. Grand Avenue is a big and busy thoroughfare in St. Louis. Grand Avenue, it's one of the famous avenues in St. Louis. And here this little kitten. And the children in our group fell in love with this little cat, and anyway we ended up bringing it home, and it stayed here. Well, I found out he was a real wrecking machine. So many statues were broken because he could get up, and he was just one muscle, and just pushed over statues and everything. I remember one of our favorite statues of Saint Anne and the Blessed Mother. How he bumped that one, and I could just see it. I saw it with my own eyes. It fell down head first, heading for the cement floor on our chapel floor, and it was caught miraculously, I think. But hello, anyway, by the candle, the sanctuary lamp stand. They had designs. Hollowed out in the stand in a decorative manner, and Saint Anne and Blessed Mother were saved from the crash of the cement on the cement. There was a chalk statue, and they got a little beat up, but thank God the sanctuary lamp. Our Lord was watching out for his grandmother and his mom there with that statue of Saint Anne and Saint and Blessed Mother. Anyway, he was just intolerable. I was trying to take care of him. I went to the veterinarian, got all the shots and all that stuff. He didn't charge me anything because he knew I rescued it. But anyway, a good friend from the shrine, who goes to church at the shrine, said that her daughter would like to have it out at their farm. So that was about 3 years ago, and so that's why we got a beautiful home out there, beautiful a farm. So he became what we call a barn cat. He could go in the barn. He had his own place, his feeding and all that, and he could go out in the cornfields, whatever he wanted to do. Well, ultimately he strayed away, and they didn't find him anywhere. And I just called up the original one who helped me with this, and said, we don't know where he's at. I says, well, I know where he's at, because this black and white cat, very leggy, very a long tail, small head, but beautiful white, and contrast with black, sheer black. She's so beautiful. And he came at our door. He was real sassy. I'd say a word to him. He would talk back like a human being in cat language. I didn't understand, but he was almost a sassy about it. And he was trying to come up to let me pet him. He was still a little bit afraid and everything. But he finally let me rub his back and everything. And I've been feeding and watering him. Peanut here is so exhausted because he sprawled out on the patio, and Peanut was looking through the patio door, just just all beside himself, having that cat in his territory. So he's pretty tired. Is that right, Peanut? He's going to get his hairdo pretty soon. Peanut's really been trying to guard us from that intruder. His name was Skittles. The girls the children call them Skittles. I think there's a candy named that. And so I called him Skittles, and he's back. And the last scene, he was about 10 miles away in New Hanover, Illinois, by Waterloo, Illinois, and he had to come across freeways and all kinds of hazardous things to find us here. But this cat has returned, so we don't know what we're going to do with him, but he's returned. Okay, I'm sorry I brought that up, but it was just very fresh. I just got off the phone and just to confirm that's the right cat. Okay, Cindy and the Angels. I saw I was cut off yesterday, or the video was, when I was just getting into how Cindy would not only encourage a relationship of a friendship with our guardian angel, but also to call upon the angels for protection, especially St. Michael. I'm going to start out with St. Michael first and then talk about the guardian angels each of us have. There is a cave, a holy cave, the St. Michael cave in the Gargano Mountains in Italy, in the country of Italy. It's right by where Padre Pio is buried, or is entombed, in San Giovanni Rotondo. It's in that area. Anyway, it's up in the mountains, and it was and the mountains are cool and cold. And we were there in the fall, I think. It was still pretty cool and cold. It was jacket weather, wearing a jacket. Anyway, Cindy and I went up there to go to visit and go down into the cave. I forgot the number of the steps. I think it was 136. It might have been more, or it might have been less, but it's a lot of steps and platforms. And we were there. There is an elevator, but we were there at an odd time, and the monks that served the place were not on duty with the elevator, at least, and they were getting ready for mass way down in this cave, and this is the statue. I showed you that yesterday. This is an image of the statue. Beautiful image. It's done in silver on a marble pedestal. Anyway, you see Saint Michael, with his sword here. You usually see him with a spear. But anyway, this is the statue, or image of the statue that is venerated down in that cave. Satan's down there. Poor Satan. He looks like a monster. That's what sin does to us. We become subhuman. He became sub-angel, and he looked like just a horrible-looking figure down there, all cowering at the feet of Saint Michael, whose name is "Who is like God?" And boy, don't mess with God, because he cast Saint Michael. Saint Michael casts Satan and all the other angels that gone wrong, that's followed Satan. We call them devils now, and we call Lucifer. He was Lucifer. He was a big deal angel in the hierarchy. Now look at him. Look what sin did to him. I will not serve. He only got one chance, because the angels, their spirits, they see what's right and what's wrong right away. We're sort of clouded and in our minds, and have to in our wills, we're sort of weak. That's what sin did to us, and sin disfigures us too, in our soul and our lives too. That's why God's calling us to holiness and to goodness, and all that is beautiful and noble and good in nature and in our spiritual life. We're called to live and to embrace life to the fullest, passionately, with great love. Well, anyway, this is the statue, and that's what the people come down to venerate. And then, of course, they have mass right below the statue, way down deep in the bowels of the earth, in the mountain. Okay, let me get you some background before we get down there. We're leaving Rome at Termini. Termini is a big railroad Union Station like kind of thing, and I got Cindy sit it down and sit down comfortably in the train, and I put our coats up in front. Why did I do that? I don't know. But anyway, someone stole our coats, and remember this was coat weather, it's jacket weather. So here we were, without any coat, without any jacket. Cindy had a little lap blanket she had over her shoulders. Of course, she was in a wheelchair, so she looked like a poor lady with a wrap around her. And I was in my short sleeves, looked like I was a big macho trying to. So who cares about the cold? Well, anyway, there were two things against this trip to this holy cave, which popes and saints had gone and venerated. Saint Francis of Assisi, many popes and many saints. It's a holy place, holy ground, where Saint Michael was to have appeared way back in centuries back. Anyway, there were two things wrong. First of all, we're going in a cave. It's cold in caves. Number two, we're going to have to go down those steps. The elevator was out, remember. So I told Cindy, my God, Cindy, how are you going to get down? She had cardiomyopathy besides arthritis and diabetes. She had all kinds of things wrong with her. And anyway, I folded up she insisted on going down. I folded up the wheelchair. Because, of course, it's steep. Those steps are steep, and they go around, spiral around. Anyway, we started down, and all of a sudden, just the first few steps, we were already down on the bottom of the where the sanctuary is, where all the people were. The people were there waiting for mass. We just took a few steps, and all of a sudden we were right there. We didn't know how we got there. To top that off, the people were all there with their coats on and everything, and here we are with only our without a coat, without anything, of course our clothes, but without a coat. We went right up when we went up there in front of everybody, and while they were waiting to venerate the statue, the image we have there, and then I said, isn't it warm in here? I thought to myself, and I was looking for the fans. I remember when the old Safeway market, they would have these fans, like they would blow hot air, into the store. They were big, real loud noise. Now everything is but they were hanging from the ceiling. I was looking for something like that. I said, where is that heat coming from? And I realized there was no fan, there was no heat. We who should have been freezing were filled with warmth. Afterwards, I mentioned that to Cindy. I noticed that we were warm as toasty as can be down there. While everybody else was in the back, ready for mass to start, were all in their coats and jackets and everything. So there were two holy things that happened. Now, as I said in the last YouTube, I'm only reporting this. If it's miraculous, that's up to the church to judge. So don't worry. We're not. We're just telling you what happened. And then the worst thing is to go up the steps. Well, we were just so amazed at the other thing. We were just awed by what happened. We were just speechless. And they said we got to get up these steps, and we took a few steps, and we were all the way up at the entrance of the cave. It was marvelous. I couldn't believe what happened. It never happened. Anything like that ever happened. And I'm from Missouri. I'm one of show me state. That's a sort of built-in thing in Missourians, who are skeptical more than gullible or credible. Anyway, those were beautiful things that happened. And of course, we attribute it to Saint Michael. Saint Michael had become a great friend of ours, and we thanked him so much.